Cortney Hendrickson, Spring Garden Township. I know you're not going to answer me, but who else is tired? I just wanted to point out that we would all probably be tucked in our beds like the people who went home if we actually answered people when they asked a question that can be answered. You do realize, like, just the question that Lady Ants asked about clearances is not something we need to be secretive about, right? I mean, you could always wink at me, nod maybe a little bit, because those things are what create huge meetings like this, people coming out in droves because they never, I shouldn't say never, mostly don't get a response. A couple times, Dr. Krauser certainly answered me and I appreciated it. I think that's the number one thing. If I can't, I wrote it down and thought to myself, a communication expert like Rhonda, who you hired, is probably going to say, first time, I'm just guessing, not putting words in her mouth, but I'm just guessing, she's going to suggest at some point, even just occasionally nod, smile. Maybe you could. Maybe you could even dialogue when it's appropriate and you don't think the solicitor's probably saying, oh, maybe not that one. Let's wait on that one. Everything doesn't need to require an email and chasing a rabbit. Because I wrote that down, I thought, man, you're wasting time. You're not efficient. It's not good use of your resources. I know you're tired. You have families to go home to like us. What's the point of a public meeting if most of the things never get answered in the public? It's just keeping people in the dark. And I don't know about you, but the darkness usually causes confusion. And it's funny, I thought I have this on my shirt today and it says, be the light. And it was so ironic. Be the light in the world. Legitimately, you have an opportunity. You do not have to keep everything secret. I don't even think that's your role. I think your role is to be transparent, to be bold. And I also want to say, Madam President, you have the ability, you yourself as the role of the president, to really engage and be a good communicator. I think it would have been awesome for the community to hear you say, I made a mistake. If that was in fact a mistake and you misspoke, it actually teaches even the young people who might, the one that sits here, young Sophia Skelet, what does she get to see? You're a human being. You even made a mistake. Mrs. San Martin was in the bathroom and you voted. It's okay to be humble and to say, I made a mistake. Maybe I got something wrong earlier and I jumped the gun with my emotion that wasn't all complete until you provided some clarity that I still would get to speak after other people spoke. I could still circle back. I think it's something to really pay attention to. And I also want to say the other people you mentioned, maybe they're not facing a $120 million project around the corner. Maybe those other districts that have 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute that you referenced, maybe they're not facing what we are. So do not take their time. The people that drove here continue to come here. And the reason they're here is because you did not answer their questions the last time or the time before that. If you want to show how Mr. Sears got it wrong, for example, for the tax thing, you could do that. Mrs. Cachuli said she thinks it's disingenuous to provide numbers, and I understand what she means, where she's probably coming from. If you provide that thing that's not been voted on, but you just sat here 5-10 minutes ago and talked about fictitious numbers and worst case scenarios when it came to some other things.
You have 1 minute.
Why not share that too? Why not say, hey, in case you need to plan and move out of this district, let's give everybody the worst case scenario. And we can put a little asterisk there and say that. Please don't keep people in the dark. And I think it's ironic. I'll just end with this. She'll be a great asset. I believe that. I think she sounds like a fantastic communicator already. I think she will really help you see the irony is, yes, you need her. It probably is money well spent. Some of it is basic. Admit a mistake. Smile at people. Don't push everybody off on email. We came here. We're here. We're human beings. Dialogue sometimes when you can. It will go a long way. I promise.